So I discovered an interesting problem with a client website this morning, and it reminded me how important it is to have Google Search Console connected to your website, and also to regularly check and update the Google index within Google Search Console. So stick around, I'm going to show you the problem and all of the little intricacies involved, and then why updating Google Search Console is so important. So this is my client, Brightmark Health, and this is a new medical practice here in Birmingham, Alabama. And just a fantastic doctor, fantastic project that we've been able to work on for him. And what I was looking at this morning was searching some keywords to kind of see where he ranks. Now, we have tools that tell us where he's ranking, but I like to do manual searches every now and then just to make sure that the tools I'm using are they're accurate. And so I typed in preventative medicine Birmingham in Google search, and at the very top it says, "Did you mean preventive medicine Birmingham?" And no, I meant preventative, but it's correcting me here, kind of like it's almost misspelled. So I looked it up, and both terms are correct, preventative and preventive. And so I scrolled down just to see where my client is ranking, and he's ranking on the first page. Even though this is a new site and a new SEO project, he's still ranking pretty well for this term, preventative medicine, in Birmingham, Alabama. And so it got me to thinking, okay, so maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe preventive is the correct term. So I jumped over to Ubersuggest, which is one of the tools that we use to do keyword research. And you see here I dropped in preventative medicine and preventive medicine. And sure enough, if you come down here, preventative medicine gets 1,300 searches a month with about 69, rating 69 of search difficulty. And then preventative medicine gets 6,600. So we're looking at roughly 6 times the amount of searches that preventative medicine. So this is clearly the winner. The search difficulty is about the same. But wow, preventive medicine. So I am going to definitely switch to that term. But I also wanted to check healthcare and see preventative healthcare versus preventive healthcare. And sure enough, same thing. Preventative gets 590 searches, not that many, where preventative healthcare gets 8,100 searches. So now the search difficulty is pretty high, but not a lot higher than what we had with preventative medicine or preventive medicine. So we need to do some updates on his site to reflect this better search term. And so here's the page in question, preventative medicine, and then we've got the word preventative throughout, all throughout the text here. So we definitely need to update those things. We also need to update the URL and the SEO title, the SEO meta description. So there's several things we need to update to better reflect this term. And you'll notice here in the search results, it says preventative medicine. That's the SEO title. And then looks like we don't have the word preventative in the meta description. So that's probably something we should add. We should probably add preventive medicine in the description anyway. So we have a few changes to make. So I'm inside the page editor. Again, I'm using the Divi Builder inside of WordPress. And these are pretty simple changes to make. I mean, we're just literally taking out 2 letters here. So from preventative to preventive medicine. And we'll change those everywhere on the page. So that change pretty straightforward. But the next thing we need to do is to change the actual page title in WordPress. So we'll change that, and then we need to change the URL. So now all of those things are changed. Now when I change the URL, what's going to happen there is now any links that we have pointed to that old URL need to be redirected to the new one, or we just need to go and update the links. Difficulty is sometimes you don't know where all those links exist. So I'm going to go ahead and save this, and there's a plugin on the WordPress site called Redirection that's automatically going to create a redirect, which is really helpful for us. And that can be found down under Tools, under Redirection. And so you'll see right here, preventative medicine is now redirecting to preventive medicine. Now, this is the redirection plugin. I highly recommend using this if you have a WordPress site, because when you make URL changes like that, this will automatically happen for you. But you do have to be careful, because now as I look at this, I remember, wait a minute, we were going to use preventive health care. So if we go back into the page and we say, no, I meant to change this to preventive health care. So I'm going to do the same thing, change the title, change the URL. And then we'll need to update all the text. So from preventative medicine, I keep saying preventative healthcare. And we'll change it in the text, throughout. That's not bad. Preventive care, that's fine. That doesn't actually have to be updated. But now what's happened is redirection has automatically created another redirect. So now I've got preventive medicine going to preventive health care, and we've got two redirects happening. This is a problem with search, because if a bot comes to that old URL and gets redirected twice, it probably is not going to index the page. It's probably going to bail, go on to another page that has less redirects. So the redirects can get kind of complex when you use a tool like this, so you always need to go back and check them. So I've got this preventative medicine going to preventive health care, and I've got preventative medicine going to preventive medicine. It's all jacked up. So what we need to do is go ahead and delete that new one that it just created and go back to the original. Like the original was preventative medicine. We're now sending that to preventive health care. This one redirect. Now again, ideally we wouldn't have any redirects, but right now we don't know where the links are on the site or where the links are out on the internet that might be going back to this page. So it's always better to have a redirect than to go to a dead page or a 404. So now I'm going to go check, because I know for a fact where one of these links lives. And it's on this Primary Care Birmingham page. Down here, and I also need to update the text here where it says preventative medicine. If I click that, it should then redirect me to preventive health care. And we see up here at the top, it goes to the correct URL, to preventive health care. But rather than have the redirect in place, I'd rather just correct that URL so that it doesn't have to go through the redirect. So what I do is come back to my Primary Care Birmingham page, go ahead and open that up, and then go straight to this link. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to change that to healthcare. And then in the link, we'll update the link from medicine to healthcare. So see, now the redirect is still there. It's still there in our redirection plugin. It's just not needed from that link because we corrected the link. And again, that's really the best thing you can do. It's just that if you have hundreds or thousands of links, it's very difficult to go back and find those. So there are scanning tools like Ahrefs will do it, and then I use Screaming Frog a lot for this kind of thing. And it'll go through the site, find your redirects, and then you can evaluate the redirects individually and then know, yeah, I want to keep these, I want to get rid of these, and just correct them. And so the last change that we want to make is we want to go into the SEO title and SEO description, the meta description, which is powered by the Yoast plugin. And we want to go ahead and change these as well, from preventative to preventive, from medicine to healthcare, which that sounds better, preventive healthcare experts. And then we want to prioritize your health with our preventive healthcare approach. And the rest of that looks fine. So now we're going to update those things. So all of that work, all of the edits, the titles, the URLs, the redirections, the content edit, the SEO title, the SEO description, all of that stuff is not going to be recognized by Google until Google reindexes this page. And here's the thing, because this page already exists in Google's index, it may not update all these changes that we just did for several weeks or even months. It may never update them. You got to remember, the Google bot is indexing billions of web pages a day. And so we need to let Google know we've made some massive changes to this page. And the way you do that is through Google Search Console. So we're here at Google Search Console for Brightmark Health, and this is a new site. It's not getting much traffic just yet. We're still optimizing and doing a lot of SEO and marketing work. So we're going to see traffic increase a lot here over the next few weeks. But one of the key things that we want to look at is make sure that the pages are indexed correctly. So you'll see this indexing section in Google Search Console, which shows there's 21 pages not indexed, and those may not be pages. Those could be individual images. They could be things in the admin. And then we have 12 indexed pages. So we want to see what those are. So I always go down to pages here, 21 not indexed, 12 indexed, and then let's look at the indexed pages. So we've got homepage, urgent care, primary care, concierge. There's our preventative medicine. Well, see, that page doesn't technically exist anymore. So we need to let Google know that there's been a change to that page. Let's see what else. Yeah, there's a Hello World post, which we actually need to delete. And then there's an author page, which is basically a fake page. We also need to take out of the index. That's not our primary concern right now. Our primary concern is that we want to make sure that new page is indexed. So we're going to grab the URL, and we want to go up here to the top where it says inspect any URL. We're going to drop the URL in there, hit enter, and it's going to retrieve the data. It's going to say, hey, this page does not exist in Google's index. Well, why? Well, because technically we just created it. This is a brand new URL. So we want to say request indexing. And when we do that, it's going to test and make sure that, one, it's a live page and that there's nothing in the robot's text file or anything that's going to say this page can't be indexed. So Google's doing that check now. It says, hey, indexing is requested, which means that yes, it can be indexed. And then now we have priority, supposedly. Google will go in over the next couple of days and then re-index this page. So that may make you wonder, well, what do we actually do with the page that we got rid of, right? Because now that page doesn't exist anymore. So if we go to preventative medicine, which is the old URL, it still says the URL is on Google, right? Because Google doesn't know yet that we've made the change. So it will still take a few days, maybe a few weeks for Google to see, oh, that page now redirects to the new one. There's really nothing to be done at this point with Google to say that this should not be indexed. It will discover it on its own. The most important piece is that we've made sure that the new page is indexed. So when we come back to Google search, in a couple of days or maybe even a couple of weeks, we would want to make sure that Preventive Healthcare Birmingham was displaying our client's page, Brightmark Health would show up here. And so that really is the goal. But listen, if you don't have Google Search Console enabled and connected to your site, then you're not going to get any of this data. So I would highly recommend connecting Google Search Console to your website if you haven't done it already. It's actually very simple to do. It just takes a few minutes to verify everything, and then you'll be able to check Google's index as you make these changes. Now look, this goes the same if you're going to post blog posts, for example. When you post a new blog, you want Google to see that as quickly as possible. So you need to jump over to the Search Console, make sure it gets indexed. Now, if you have a sitemap and your sitemap is updating correctly, which probably is if you're using a content management system, that's going to help. But really requesting that priority index in Google Search Console is the way to do it, and you're going to get a lot quicker results, get your pages indexed faster, and start seeing, well, what we're all going for is that's more traffic, more leads, more business. So incredibly important piece to this, and I know I showed you a lot of things there ultimately to get to this one point. It doesn't matter if you make all those changes if you don't update Google's index. So if this video has been helpful for you, go ahead and like and subscribe, and just know we're going to continue pushing out content like this that's hopefully helpful for you. If you have questions, be sure to comment, ask us direct questions, and we'll be glad to make a video addressing those questions as we go.